Well, I got another sexy story for you. So, like, we had some of those stories in the past of these damn macaque monkeys, like, just terrorizing India and Japan.
Is it pronounced macaque?
I think it is.
I thought it was macaque.
I'm choosing to pronounce it macaque because it's funnier.
It sounds like a Scottish lord.
But I think there's some good news. I think these macaques finally found something that's going to calm them down. Dirty monkey business. Macaques learn to use stones as sex toys. Man.
They're evolving.
Those monkeys are up
They've
to...
been paying too much attention to it like humans.
Those monkeys are up to something. There have been strangely many stories popping up lately about macaques. In Japan, the authorities recently executed a macaque that had been attacking people. But in Indonesia, the macaques are, well, doing something completely different. There's no tactful way to put this, so we'll just be blunt. The macaques are masturbating with sex toys. In a recent study published in the journal Ethology, researchers observed groups of long-tailed macaques in Bali's sacred monkey forest. They noticed that the monkeys were using stones on their genitals. Puzzled by the behavior, the scientists tried to figure out if there was some kind of deeper reason for it. But as it turns out, the most likely explanation is that it just makes the monkeys feel good. On one hand, it's common knowledge that some monkeys can use primitive tools. On the other, we didn't really expect them to. Oh, who are we kidding? Our ancestors probably did the exact same thing as soon as they learned to pick up a stone.
They're entering the Stone Age.
Although, that's like the worst thing to fuck with.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it'd be your first choice.
But let's take a step back.
Could be like that guy last week and just fuck a cat.
You'd think they would go with like an animal before they go with a stone. But let's
Romancing the stone.
Oh, that might be a good title. But let's take a step back and establish what the macaques are actually doing with the stones. By the way, we will talk about monkey genitalia, so you might want to stop reading here if that makes you uncomfortable. What?
Not at
These
all.
writers, man. If we're in this far, we're up for it. Still with us? All right, let's get dirty. So the researchers gathered their data, mostly in the form of video between 2016 and 2019. Oh, good video.
Get my close-up lens.
They observed many instances of monkeys playing with stones of various sizes. Sometimes the activity was clearly just play or mental stimulation. The macaques would gather piles of stones, collect them together, throw them around, stick them in their mouths, and whatever other things you'd expect them to do with a bunch of rocks. But then there was the other behavior. The researchers noticed that both the male and female macaques had a habit of rubbing or tapping stones on their genitals. With the male monkeys, it was pretty obvious what was going on. According to the study, the male macaques would rub their dongs with stones more often and for a longer time if they also had an erection. Clearly, they were spanking the monkey. But with their females, things weren't quite so clear-cut. For females, it's a little bit harder because we don't really have an easy signifier of arousal, Camilla Senni, the study's lead author and PhD candidate at the University of Lethbridge, Canada, told Vice. However, the females were weirdly picky about which stones received the honor of caressing their lady parts. Oh, let me guess, just the big ones. They seem to prefer stones with a grainy texture or ones with a prominent edge. What does it mean, like a sharp edge?
Yeah, right.
You can probably imagine why that might be. Naughty. Creativity from boredom is... it's not unusual to see macaques using or playing with stones. For example, Japanese macaques do it very commonly, as do the ones in Bali. Masturbation isn't a rare phenomenon either. Many primates do it, from macaques to chimpanzees, and yes, Homo sapiens like you and me. But seeing macaques put two and two together and use stone tools for masturbation is a rare sight to behold. How could they have learned this behavior? They learned it from watching you.
I learned it from you, Dad.
One explanation could be that the macaques are simply so bored that they discovered sex toys. Senni's team and other researchers have noticed that macaques living near humans are more likely to play with stones. The reason for that is that they can get plenty of food both from visiting tourists and stealing it from human settlements. With the abundance of food, the monkeys won't have to be constantly looking for their next meal. Consequently, they have many hours in the day that they don't really need to do anything. I think we can probably confidently say that the free time they have as a result of provisioning is a big explanation for playing with stones, said Senni. While messing around with the stones, one macaque probably figured out that rubbing them on their genitals feels kind of nice. Throw in some monkey see, monkey do, and soon the whole group knows about the joy of sex toys. It's hard to give a very solid explanation, but it really seems that they do it because it feels good. There is some sort of tactile stimulation from the contact of these stones with their genitals, and it feels good, and there's no reason to stop, summarized Senny. It started with masturbation, all right, so we've learned that macaques have figured out what sex toys are. What do we do with this revelation? Well, funny as the thought of a monkey using a stone dildo is, the observation could have significant scientific merit. It may lead to a better understanding of how tool use develops in primates. It was using tools that helped our predecessors conquer the planet.
It'd be really handy if this was like a pointy, like a spear. Oh, yeah, that's the stuff.
They learn to shape them. And as we joked in the beginning, it's possible that they too once went from stuffing stones in their mouths to sticking them into other orifices on their way to discover more advanced technology. Our results support the view that tool use evolves in stages from initial non-functional behaviors such as object play through affordance learning, the researcher noted in the study. In other words, the macaques have learned to use stones for a purpose. Who knows, rubbing a rock on its genitals might be the first step on the road that leads the macaque to inventing a monkey wrench.
I want to see the anthropologist who writes that letter. Peer-reviewed.
I want to see these videos undercut with that. Who's that Planet Earth narrator that with the British voice?
Attenborough.
Yeah, let's get Attenborough to narrate these monkeys fucking boning off the rocks.
Here we see the monkey choosing a pebble. Notice its grainy texture and sharp edge.
Yeah.
There was a point in that article where they said they must have discovered this when they were bored. I don't think so. I think that's probably on the top of their mind. Like humans, all humans think about is sex most of the time.
That's true. And we're 99% apes. So
She-Hulk.
Let's do it.
Well, I was just thinking they also said these monkeys, they don't have to search for food so much, so they think about fucking more.
Wow.
But in the caveman days when they did have to spend a large portion of their day searching for food, they still were fucking a lot.
I'm sure they procrastinated by fucking. We'll get food. Just